Good morning. I'm Samuel Ojo, a 500 level student of University of Ilorin Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science, currently at rotation at the Drug and Information Unit of the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital. I'll be talking briefly on the legal aspects of drug information practices. And so an understanding of the legal aspect of drug information can help practitioners in day-to-day practice, as well as provide some possible ways to protect himself or herself in the legal system. There are actually a myriad of legal issues confronting the various facets of drug information. And these legal issues actually cross over a number of traditional legal specialties, which include computer law, advertising law, privacy law, intellectual law, telecommunications law, and torts law. The functions of a DI specialist has evolved over the years and now includes a wide range of services, which include online searching, monitoring or recommending drug therapy, patient counseling, participation in clinical studies, participation in pharmacy and therapeutic committees, drug use evaluation, and identifying adverse drug experiences. And all of these things that I just mentioned entail legal obligations of proper performance. And so it is very important that a pharmacist or a drug information specialist is aware of the legal implications. So I'll just talk about a few of the laws that have to do with these aspects. The first I'll talk about is the torts law, which is the body of law which encompasses negligence. And a tort can be defined as a violation of duty imposed by law on an individual based upon a relationship to another individual. So, for example, we could have a duty that is owed in the case of a health practitioner to the patient, or a duty that is not owed in the case of a passerby seeing an injured person on the road. And so currently, most litigation concerning pharmacists and drug information specialists involve negligence. It is safe to assume that a legal cause of action pertaining to the provision of drug information will be founded on the theory of negligence as the direct or proximate cause of patient injury or death. And essentially, there needs to be a connection between the injury caused and the information that was provided. Malpractice liability is based on negligence, refers to failure to exercise the degree of care that a prudent and reasonable person would exercise under similar circumstances. So traditionally, physicians are responsible for their patients and are to exert due care. That is, a physician who should have known or should know that the information provided is improper could be liable for negligence. And so torts law majorly encompasses duty breached, damages incurred, direct causation, and also the defenses in the case of the legal cases where the defenses must be present to be able to prove that case. Other areas include torts liability, which I've just discussed, and also vicarious liability, labeling and advertising liability, and essentially every legal case that has been raised against a drug information specialist or pharmacist is due to an omission or due to an error on the side of this pharmacist or this drug information specialist. And so pharmacists must be very careful to perform their duties with appropriate care so as to make sure that therapeutic care is achieved and is optimal. Thank you.
I am Giwa Winifred Damlola, and I'll be talking on pharmacy informatics, enabling safe and efficacious medication use. Pharmacists of today have a multitude of responsibilities within their scope of practice, whether verifying and filling prescriptions, compounding medications, advising patients on proper medication use, or collaborating with other practitioners in the care of patients at the forefront of a pharmacist's responsibility is a focus on the safe and effective use of medication therapy. The term informatics simply also refers to the use of computers to manage data and information. Informatics exists at the intersection of people, information, and technology. According to HIMSS, they define pharmacy informatics as a scientific field that focuses on medication-related data and knowledge within the continuum of healthcare system, including its acquisition, storage, analysis, and dissemination in the delivery of optimal medication-related patient care and health outcomes. The society actually outlines 5 broad areas of responsibility for pharmacy in the pharmacy informatics use, which involves the information management, knowledge delivery, data analytics, clinical informatics, and change management. The 2 broad categories of information used in pharmacy informatics, as well as other clinical informatics domains, are the patient-specific information and knowledge-based information. The patient-specific information, which is created and applied in the process of caring for individual patients, includes medication and medical histories, laboratory test results, radiological interpretation, immunization histories, physical assessment, and other information that is unique to the specific patient. The knowledge-based information, on the other hand, forms the scientific basis of healthcare and includes referential information about medications, procedures, disease states, and clinical practice guidelines, as well as many other domains of health and medical knowledge. So the medication use process medication use process is a system of interconnected parts that work together to achieve the common goal of safe and effective medication therapy. The interconnected parts include the people, the systems, procedures, and policies that manage medications and related information in patient care. The medication use process is cyclical in nature and begins with the prescribing stage. In this stage, the practitioner assesses whether medication therapy is warranted, and if so, orders therapy accordingly. The health information technology, which is the HIT, utilized at the prescribing stage, includes the computerized provider order entry, CPOE, electronic prescribing, e-prescribing, and clinical decision support system, the CDSS, and includes various medication references. Following the prescribing stage, the next stage is the medication use process is the transcription stage. Here, the ordered medication enters the pharmacy computer system. A pharmacist assesses the appropriateness of the order, and any issues or discrepancies are addressed. The HIT tools used at the transcription stage includes the CPOE and e-prescribing. Various drug information references, often electronic in nature, may be used and may be built into the systems. Next is the dispensing stage. Here, the medication is prepared and distributed from the pharmacy, either directly to the patient or to a healthcare provider. There are many HIT tools used in the dispensing stage, which includes the barcode verification, automated dispensing cabinets, syringe fillers, total parenteral nutrition compounders, and other robotics. Following the dispensing stage is the administration stage, in which the medication is reviewed for appropriateness and then given to or taken by the patient. Healthcare providers, caregivers, and patients, and the patient's family may be involved in the administration stage, depending on the setting. The HIT tools used here may include point of care barcoding, electronic medication administration records, ARs, and intelligent infusion, which is the smart pumps. The final stage is the medication use process in monitoring. At the monitoring stage, the patient's response to the medication therapy is assessed. Outcomes are documented and interventions are made as necessary. The HIT tools used here include adverse drug event surveillance, antibiotic drug surveillance, and rules engines. Now, there are some of the HIT tools mentioned above. I'll be giving a brief description on them. The adverse drug events monitoring. This one includes computer programs that use electronic data and predetermined rules to identify when an ADE may have occurred or is about to occur to a patient within a hospital. Automated dispensing cabinet, ADCs. These are automated devices with a range of functions. Core capabilities include medication storage and retrieval for administration to patients, especially in patient care areas, as well as audits, trials, of cabinet access. Other functions can include medication charging and automated inventory management. Barcode verification. The use of barcode scanning to ensure that the correct drug, the strength and dosage form were dispensed in the drug selection process. And 5 rights of medication administration are followed, which include the right patients, right drugs, right dose, right route, and right time are followed at the point of care. Electronic prescribing, e-prescribing, the electronic process in which a prescription is initially entered in an electronic format and then verified and processed in an electronic format, resulting in a labeled medication product, supportive documentation, and an updated shareable patient electronic medication profile. And finally, rule engines. These are computer programs that are similar to AD monitoring systems with built-in logic rules designed to aid in monitoring specific aspects of patient care. For example, a rule developed in an attempt to prevent hypoglycemia in patients receiving insulin may require documentation of patient's meal being delivered prior to the patient receiving mealtime insulin. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Alawi Olayinka, and I'll be talking on drug information resources. From definition, drug information is current critically examined relevant data about drugs and the use of drugs. And then these drugs are being used in patients and in some situations like in veterinary. So current information uses the most recent up-to-date sources possible. Critically examined information should meet some criteria which are listed below. They should have more than one source should be used. The extent of agreement of these sources should be determined. That is, the extent of these sources should be in accordance to a very large extent. Then the plausibility of the information based on clinical circumstances. So relevant information must be presented in a manner that is applied directly to the circumstances under considerable parameters. For example, the patient parameters, the therapeutic objectives, the alternative approaches. We have different types of drug information resources. We have the primary resources, we have the secondary resources, and we also have the tertiary resources. So the primary resources are majorly the researchers and manufacturers' information about drugs or disease condition. Patients containing original information regarding the discovery of drug, which are usually gotten from clinical trials. And then the report containing scientific data about products can be sold, supplied, or represented. Scientific journals, they are also primary sources of drug information. So they provide original studies on reports, e.g. the clinical trial, the case series, and case report. And one of the advantages of these primary resources is that the scope is narrow, and it is good when topic is new or new data has been published. We also have the secondary resources, just like I mentioned earlier. These are the abstract or index which summarize the information using the primary sources. And then the indexing and abstracting services are valuable tools for quick and selective screening of primary literature for specific information, data, citation, and articles. We have 3 types of this abstract. We have the telegraphic abstract, which is strings of words. We have the indicative abstract, structured in sentence, and we have the informative abstract. We also have bibliographic databases that provide abstracts or full text of studies. And we also have the tertiary resources, which are the compilations of knowledge in the field. For example, we have the textbook, like our pharmacological textbook. There are tertiary resources. We have the handbook. We have online drug compendia, and we have the advantage of these tertiary resources that they are good for background question, and the scope is broad, unlike primary resources. We also have other sources of drug information unit like the libraries, the research associations, the government bodies, the information center in industry, the analyst lab, and then the policy centers. So we are going to consider internet as a source of drug information. One of the benefits of using internet as a source of drug information is your search for recently published data in the media is made possible by internet. Then company-specific information, if you're looking for the company-specific information about the drug or disease condition, you can easily get it from internet within a twinkle of an eye. Then there are issues. Resources on the internet are issues currently in the news. So if you are looking for a very recent information about drug or disease condition, you can easily get it from the internet. Then government agency news, they are also one of the benefits of using internet as drug information. One of the limitations of the internet as drug information is that information may not be peer-reviewed or edited before release. Mostly before your information about drug or disease condition can be generally accepted, it has to be reviewed by some journal club, designated for the purpose, then information may not be reliable because anybody can pop information on internet, then you might be misinformed about something, especially when it comes to drug and disease condition. Then drug must have URL, their address. So you have to state the URL before you can even actually get information from the internet. So we have some selected websites whereby you can get your drug information. We have the dda.gov.mp, we have the nepalpharmacycouncil.org.mp, and we have the www.nhrc.org.mp. So we have some approved drug information for use of drug. For example, the AHFS drug information is a drug information whereby you can get all your information about the drug, majorly based on the pharmacology and the mode of administration, the side effect, the adverse effect. We also have some listed there. We have drug facts and comparison facts. We have the PDR, we have the USP drug information, we have drug decks, which is also known as micromedex. We have our clinical pharmacology. We have drug information handbook and lexicon. We have PDR, I mentioned that earlier. So we also have some unapproved use of drugs that can be found in AHFS drug information. We have the Medline, we have the drug desk, we have Informa. And lastly, we have some drugs that are manufactured in foreign countries. If you want to get information about all these drugs that are being manufactured internationally, you can actually check Martindale, which is a complete drug reference, the index minimum, the USP Dictionary of United States Adopted Names, USAN, and the international drug names. We have the Lexic drugs information online. Then for some investigational drugs, the following resources are available for those drugs. We have the Martindale, like I mentioned, there is the complete drug reference. We have the drug fact and comparison / fact and comparison for edition 4. We have the pink sheet published by the FDC report. We have the NDA pipeline published by the FDC report. Thank you very much.
Good day, I'm Olatunde Oluwakemi, and I'll be talking on concepts of drug information. It is called drug information, medication information, or drug informatics. It's the discovery, use, and management of information in the use of medications. Drug information covers the gamut from identification, cost, and pharmacokinetics to dosage and adverse effects. You may also need information about the body, health, or disease in order to better utilize the drug information. Drug information refers to current, critically examined relevant data about drugs and drug use in a given patient in a particular condition. The availability of patient's disease and medication-specific information and a knowledgeable decision maker are integral components of providing a system that supports the safe and appropriate use of medications. The provision of drug information is among the most fundamental responsibilities of all pharmacists. Drug information may be patient-specific, academic, or developed for a given patient population, such as development of therapeutic guidelines, communication of a national quality initiative, coordination of an adverse drug event reporting and monitoring program, publication of newsletters or updating websites. The pharmacist can serve as a resource for issues regarding cost, medication selection and use, medication policy decisions, medical and drug information resource selection, or medication information and education. The goal of providing carefully evaluated evidence-based recommendations to support specific medication use practices is to enhance 1, the quality of patient care, 2, improve patient outcomes, and 3, ensure the prudent use of resources. The primary purpose of these guidelines is to describe contemporary drug information activities, including the application of systematic approach, appropriate documentation methods, and use of high-quality drug information resources. This information is intended to assist pharmacists in providing optimal drug information services in a variety of practice settings, including hospitals and health systems, outpatient care centers, managed care environments, medical communication departments, and university or academic-based drug information. Drug information service is a dedicated and specialized service provided by pharmacists to enhance knowledge of medicine use, promotes rational prescribing among prescribers, and reduce medication errors. Then there are different services that are provided by drug information specialists. The primary goal of a drug information service is to improve patient care by providing objective and unbiased information for drug-related questions. Drug information services are facilities or personnel dedicated to and specializing in the provision of written or oral information about drugs and pharmacotherapy in response to a request from other healthcare professionals, organizations, committees, or patients. A drug information expert can estimate how much time may be necessary to perform the research, consider the urgency of the request, and prioritize requests. There is no special accreditation or licensing for drug information services. It is the pharmacist who is licensed. Then there are some services provided by drug information specialists. One of it is providing drug information to patients, caregivers, and healthcare professionals, creating and maintaining currency of a variety of print and online educational resources for patients and healthcare professionals, educating healthcare professionals on safe and effective medication use policies and processing, leading or participating in continuing educational services for healthcare professionals, precepting and educating pharmacy students and residents, participating in quality improvement research projects, and drug cost analysis. Formulary management responsibilities, medication use evaluations, adverse drug reaction surveillance, general education of staff through newsletters or other communications. DICs found in industries or poison centers often respond to drug information questions, but not provide all the previous services mentioned. Tertiary, secondary, and primary references must be utilized appropriately when researching questions, and one needs to be able to select the most appropriate resource from various examples of books, database, and internet websites when responding to drug information questions. Effective drug information specialists must be able to exercise excellent oral and written communication skills and are able to, one, anticipate and evaluate the drug information needs of patients and healthcare professionals, obtain appropriate and complete background information, use a systematic approach to address drug information needs by effectively searching, retrieving, and critically evaluating the literature, then appropriately synthesize, communicate, document, and apply pertinent information to the patient's care situation. Then practice areas of drug information specialists. They specialize in academia, institutional health systems, managed care, industries, medical writings, and informatics. Thank you. I am Okorinji Victoria Titilayo. I'm here to talk on formulating an effective drug information responses, a structured approach. There are 7 steps to respond to drug information requests. We have 1, secure requester demographics. It's important to know your audience as the response technique may differ depending on whether the question comes from a healthcare professional or a patient. For example, you use the word renal with a pharmacist and kidney with a patient. It's always best to inquire how the requester would like the information delivered, either phone or by fax, as this will help ensure adequate follow-up. Then the second step is obtain background information. This is historically the most difficult step because you must act as a detective, determine whether it is general or patient-specific question, and then identify resources the requester has already consulted to help facilitate the process. For patient-specific question, it is important to inquire about pregnancy, weight, and renal function. Number 3, you determine and categorize the question. If a pharmacist requests information about whether a patient who is breastfeeding can take amoxicillin, this would be classified as lactation question. Various categories may include pregnancy, drug interaction, pharmacy law, or pill identification. Then the 4th step is develop a strategy and conduct a search. First begin with tertiary literature, which is a compilation of primary literature. This may include textbooks like Drugs in Pharmacy, in Pregnancy and Lactation, or drug information databases like Clinical Pharmacology or Lexicon. Next, consult your secondary literature resources, which is the path to primary literature. Secondary resources include PubMed and Embase, which will enable you to locate primary literature or original research. It's important to use reputable resources when researching. When using websites, be sure to consult the ones ending in .gov or .org. Perform
evaluation, analysis, and synthesis. Objectively critique all of the information you retrieve from your comprehensive literature search. Also consider the background information of your question. Consult the pharmacist and other healthcare professionals with expertise in your specific drug information question. The sixth step is formulate and provide a response. Inform the requester when one course of action is more desirable. Present competing viewpoints and considerations. Also describe your evaluation of the research. Written responses should always be concise and fully referenced. Then the last step is conduct follow-up and documentation. Following up is important for ensuring the information was received. Always document your drug information questions so you can refer back to them. You will likely see the same question in the future, and this will help serve as reference points. Thank you very much.
Good day. My name is Mahmoud Ablali. I'll be talking about assessing drug promotion. Drug promotion is defined by the World Health Organization as material or information provided by drug manufacturers with the ultimate goal of increasing, prescribing, or purchasing of medications. The FDA currently recognizes and outlines appropriate content for three types of direct-to-consumer advertising: DTCA, help-seeking ads, reminder ads, and product claim ads. The following information should be considered when validating appropriateness of DTCA, direct-to-consumer advertising: balance of risk and benefit information, and inclusion of a brief summary of the risk listed in the labeling, a statement encouraging patients to seek information from their physicians, and references to other sources to find the full prescribing information. Drug promotion to healthcare professionals makes up for the majority of drug promotion's activity in terms of financial expenditure on the part of the pharmaceutical industry. This information can be effective in eliciting changes in prescribing behavior. All healthcare professionals, including pharmacists, should arm themselves using strategies of information mastery and vigilance for flawed reasoning when interacting with pharmaceutical sales representatives. Healthcare professionals are encouraged to report drug promotion violations to FDA's Bad Ad program. Academic detailing programs, often led by pharmacists, are designed to combat pharmaceutical industry detailing by providing evidence-based information in form of one-on-one or small group interactions between a clinician and prescribers. Every year, pharmaceutical industries spend billions of dollars advertising their medications to the public and to healthcare professionals. In 2012, about $27 billion was spent on drug promotion in the United States alone. The channels companies use to promote their products include medical journals, newspapers, radio, television, magazines, websites, social media, search engine marketing, distributed promotional materials. Ultimate goal for increasing prescribing or purchasing of medications. In 1998, WHO published criteria for ethical promotion of medications. WHO suggests clinical trials should be conducted to assess correlation of drug promotion with inappropriate prescribing and occurrence of adverse events to identify the public health outcomes of drug promotion. For these reasons, healthcare professionals must be prepared to critically interpret and evaluate verbal and written drug promotions. In particular, pharmacists play an important role as an interpreter of drug advertisements to their patients. Advertisement targeted specifically to healthcare professionals should follow the approved product label, and all writing should be clear and readable. A scientific summary is required when product claims are made within an advertisement directed at healthcare professionals. These advertisements should include generic name, brand name, amount of active ingredient per dosage form, other ingredients that can lead to allergies or adverse effects, indications, dosage form, adverse reactions, warnings and precautions, contraindications, drug interactions, additional notable interactions, manufacturer's drug distributor name and address, the scientific literature references. Detailed information about the scientific properties of medication should be made available to healthcare professionals as appropriate. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Omobaredua, and I'm here to talk on drug literature evaluation. Drug literature is also called drug information, medication information, or drug informatics. It's really the discovery, use, and management of information in the use of the medication. Drug information covers the gamut from identification, cost, and pharmacokinetics to dosage and adverse effects of the drugs. Drug information is actually needed because of the following reasons. One, the newer drugs in market now are generally more potent and selective, and formulations becoming increasingly complex. Two, the literature on drugs has also expanded and covers a wide range of information. Three, a simple, quick reference to a pharmacopoeia or formulary is no longer sufficient. Therefore, in order to introduce a new drug into the practice, the professionals need to evaluate the given information. Drug literature evaluation can therefore be defined as one of the skills of drug information, which allows one to provide a critical analysis of the literature and have a better understanding of the studies done in health and medicine. It's a key component to provide a good quality answer to a requester. It enables one to be able to separate the good data from the bad data. It's a skill developed with repeated use that helps one to identify limits and determine the internal and external validity of a trial. The uses of drug literature evaluation. One, to evaluate method or design of study. For treatment allocation, to evaluate controls, to evaluate method analysis. Drug information specialists will often use some standard questions to help in this process. The key questions to ask yourself when evaluating a clinical trial include, what is the value of the trial in terms of new knowledge? Are the interpretations and conclusions justified? Are the extrapolations, if any, reasonable? Are the results likely to affect the clinical practice or other research activities? What is the overall quality of the data? Does it adequately address the aims and objectives and support the conclusions reached? Were the endpoints appropriately chosen, and were the data analysis reliably performed? Overall, how much emphasis should you place on the findings? Why is it necessary to evaluate literature? It is necessary to evaluate literature because pharmacists are usually questioned during rounds on newly published research and should have skills to decide whether to use the skill of the trial to the patient or not. It helps one to know whether to include a drug in the formulary. It also helps one to decide which information to incorporate into clinical practice. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I am Olokede Victoria, and I'll be presenting on professional communication of drug information. The need to provide accurate, unbiased, and up-to-date drug information is becoming ever more important in a world which is experiencing a drug and health information explosion. Pharmacists have traditionally played an important role as disseminators of drug information and they still remain the most accessible healthcare professionals to the general public as well as to the medical community, and are more likely to be the first person approached for drug information. The pharmacist educational training should theoretically make him or her the most qualified member of the healthcare team to perform this duty. Drug information needs can vary from requests as simple as drug information to those as complex as recommendations for patient-specific therapy. The training needed by the pharmacist to fulfill its or her role as a source of drug information depends on the level at which the pharmacy wishes to practice. The ability to provide drug information accurately on these various levels requires, as a first step, the development of skills relating to the collection, storage, retrieval, evaluation, and dissemination of drug information. Relevant academic and practical training in pharmacology, therapeutics, pathophysiology, and clinical pharmacy are the basic foundations in training the pharmacist to become a drug information specialist. It should be emphasized that not all pharmacists should be trained to become drug information specialists, but all pharmacists should be proficient in using basic pharmacologic text to answer basic drug information queries that relate to drug use, adverse drug reactions, drug compatibility, and so forth. Although all pharmacists play a role in drug information, Only those with specialized training or experience should practice in a drug information center. All pharmacists with undergraduate degrees should at the very least possess basic skills in retrieving, evaluating, and disseminating drug information. They should be able to handle most requests involving drug formulation, stability, incompatibility, conditions of storage, dosages, method of administration, drug interactions, contraindications, side effects, and toxicity, as well as appropriate therapeutic use. To be an effective provider of drug information, the pharmacist must exercise excellent oral and written communication skills and be able to do the following. 1. Anticipate and evaluate the drug information needs of patients and healthcare professionals. 2. Obtain appropriate and complete background information as described under the section Systematic Approach for Responding to Drug Information Requests. 3. Use a systematic approach to address the drug information needs by effectively searching, retrieving, and critically evaluating the literature. 4. Appropriately synthesize, communicate, document, and apply pertinent information to the patient care situation. A variety of drug information activities may be performed by the pharmacist, depending on the particular practice setting and need. Every pharmacist should, however, have the skills to perform the following drug information activities. 1. Providing drug information to patients, caregivers, and healthcare professionals. 2. Creating and maintaining currency of a variety of print and online educational resources for patients, that is, tip sheets and pamphlets, and healthcare professionals. For example, in-service documents and newsletters on topics such as optimal medication use, general health, or select clinical questions. 3. Educating healthcare professionals on safe and effective medication use policies and processes, including development of resources to communicate this information. 4. Leading or participating in continuing education services for healthcare professionals. 5. Precepting and educating pharmacy students and residents. 6. Participating in quality improvement, research projects, and drug cost analysis. 7. Contributing to the biomedical literature and providing peer review for other contributors. Thank you.